sort of multi-layer project, but it's more specific. And it won't deal with a whole lot of layers, but it will deal with a specific sort of illusion technique that converts an object that appears to be, well, that is standing still and makes it look like it's moving. So this motion blur effect is actually really popular in a lot of car advertisements. But let's go ahead and jump in. So the first step, of course, would be to go online and find a car that's specifically like at a side view. Just makes the process a little easier, especially at the beginning. And then I have the steps here for you. Really kind of simple. And there's a few other ways to do it. Like you don't have to actually, like there's other orders and steps you can add or skip that can get the same result. But this is the way I'm going to show you how to do it. It's probably like one of the easiest ways to do it. So the first step is to duplicate the layer. That's a new command that we haven't learned yet. It's Command J. So I'm going to hit Command J. And if you look at the layer palette, we've got two of the exact same layers. Command J duplicates the exact same layer and puts it in the exact same position so that you can, do these little masking techniques. So now you should have two layers that are exactly the same. I'm gonna go back down to the background layer. I'm gonna hit Command A, which is select all. That's a fairly new command. We've talked about it before, but I'm gonna hit delete. Now, when this pops up, you may have to switch from content aware or color to black or white. For this one, we'll just do white. So make sure the contents is white when you delete the fill. And your layer palette should then look like this. One background layer that's all white, and one layer of the car. I'm gonna deselect, Command D. And the next step involves one of our selection tools from the previous lessons. We're going to start with the object selection tool, and this tool has actually evolved a lot over the past 3 versions of Photoshop. It's gotten really, really good. You used to be able to use the object selection tool as kind of a first step, and then having the other tools to kind of clean up and make the selection more precise. But this tool's gotten really, really good. So I'm going to go ahead and click the car, and I'm going to click out of the selection tool. And as you can see, I'm going to zoom in a little bit. It's almost perfect. I mean, it's, that selection is very precise. So we won't need to do anything else. We'll just, keep that selection the way it is. It even cut out the window and everything, and even inside the rim. This is actually pretty specific. So I'm going to then do another command that's new, selecting the inverse, which is essentially if you make a selection and you want to select everything else except for what you just selected, you can go Command Shift I, and you'll then essentially select everything else that wasn't selected in the previous selection. So in this sense, we selected the car, every part of the car was selected. And now we've selected everything else except the car. And so we'll hit Command J again, which is another part of step 4. And now we've got 3 layers. Background layer, a layer with the car, and then a layer with just the background. Well, just the contents of the image in the background. And we're going to apply our motion blur filter to that layer that is just the background of the image. So we're going to go Filter, Blur, Motion Blur. And as you can see, it has like the little options here of the angle. And this comes into play when you have images of cars that are like pointing a different direction. You may want to change the angle a little bit. But for this, we're going to do just 0. And the distance, I'm just going a little bit fast. Let's go a little bit faster, maybe 50, around 50. That's fine, that's fast enough. And so we're almost there. Now all we have to do is make the wheels move, because it looks like the car is moving, but the wheels aren't moving at all. So I'm going to go back down to layer 1, which is the layer that actually has the car in the image in the layer. And we're going to select, I'm going to zoom in a little bit to make the selection a little more precise. I'm going to make use the elliptical marquee, which is the circular selection tool. We've used that before in lesson 1. And I'm going to move that into the center, make sure it's accurate. And go back to filter, blur, and this time we're going to apply a radial blur, which also has some settings here, spin, zoom. We're going to use spin for now. 20, that's a little fast. Let's go back down. Let's go up maybe 17. That's about right. Click OK. And as you can see, that tire, or that wheel, looks like it's moving. I'm going to deselect, Command D, and I'm going to zoom in on the other tire or wheel, and I'm going to do the exact same thing. I'm going to select, let me move it over so it's in the right place. Go back to filter, blur, radial blur, same settings. And now when I hit deselect, I'm going to zoom out, Command minus, and now I have my illusion is in full effect. I have my wheels moving, the background looks like it's moving, but the car is still in perfect, like clean, like sharp image. And just for fun, I'm going to pull up the Corvette logo. It's like a cool one here. Drag it in. Make sure it's at the top of the layer palette, like always. I'm going to drag it up here. Let me zoom out a second so you guys can see the whole image. I might make this a little bit bigger. Maybe double click the layer, add like a glow of some sort, maybe a blue glow. A little bit so you can see. It's kind of hard to see the glow, but it's there. I might even add like a little phrase, let's say, the fastest car on earth, which is not true, but we'll just pretend like it is for today. Command T. And there you have almost like a real cool Corvette ad. Like I said, this is a very simple project. You should be able to knock out a few of these very quickly. So yeah, there you go.